Hey, Molly, how are you?
Good. All right. We are on our fourth week of summer learning,
Wow.
and this week is our Land and Sea week. And we're discovering all these really cool legends of the land and sea. We got a podcast about pirates. We got some really cool crafts. So, what are we cooking this week?
Well, to go with this Land and Sea week, we're having Lion's Delight South African sweet potato fritters. Do you know what a fritter is?
No, I don't know the exact definition of a fritter.
A fritter is kind of like a piece of fried cornbread. But in this case, we've got sweet potatoes. My mother used to make okra fritters, and I've heard of corn fritters, so there's lots of ways. But South Africa grow a lot of sweet potatoes, and those beautiful potatoes that are so orange are so good for us, so we're going to use those. And you have, I understood, you grated a pound of sweet potatoes. So
I did. I already have some grated, but I also wanted to show them just how to peel one.
Okay.
And then I'll show them how to grate one.
That'd be
real
awesome.
Quick. Is there any specific ways that you're supposed to peel a sweet potato?
I use a potato peeler or a paring knife, either one.
Okay. I have my paring knife, and can you tell me what a paring knife is?
A paring knife is a small knife that you hold in your hand, and you have to be quite good at cutting because you don't have the safety of your cutting board with a paring knife as much. So you can show us.
I've
practiced many times.
Yes, we're going to be very careful. Now, sweet potatoes, they're like regular potatoes and they grow underground, but they have a lot more nutrients in them.
They do, because of that orange color again. So they're high in antioxidants. They're also, believe it or not, there's purple sweet potatoes, and they're also grown. They're very good too, but they taste totally different. It's so amazing how the color can change. But there's a white sweet potato, and they don't have as many nutrients as the orange sweet potatoes, though.
Okay. Now, we grow sweet potatoes in our state. Right. I know in North Carolina we have a lot of sweet potatoes.
We're the #1 state for growing sweet potatoes.
Awesome. Now, I know they can also be called yams.
They can, and they're different. These are actually sweet potatoes. I was raised in the Piedmont of North Carolina, and where I was raised is where a lot of the sweet potatoes were grown. There were so many sweet potato fields that after they came and harvested all the sweet potatoes in like October, they would let us go in the field and pick out what they didn't find. So we always had so many sweet potatoes, but you could cure them out, but we stored them really carefully, not in the refrigerator, but somewhere dark and not too hot and not too cold. And we had sweet potatoes for the entire year.
Okay, Miss Rhonda, what ingredients do we have today?
So we, of course, have sweet potatoes.
Okay.
We have some beautiful sweet potatoes. We have some oil for frying.
Yep.
Then you have a little bit of flour.
Yep.
Salt and pepper. Mm-hmm. And an egg.
And an egg. Okay.
Yeah, that's all the ingredients for this.
Okay.
So first you start by peeling and grating the sweet potato.
Okay, I got my paring knife.
All right.
I'm going to hold it how I'm supposed to. I know that I cut off the ends first.
Yeah.
And I just got to go nice and slow when I'm using a paring knife.
Yeah, you're just trying to get rid of just the tough outer skins of that. They always say that the most nutrients are right under the skin. I thought that was very interesting. Have you ever baked a sweet potato in the jacket? They call it a jacket, the peeling that you're peeling.
Oh, I have never heard that.
You haven't, yeah, and they say in the jacket, but if you have them washed really well, oh yeah, of course you have washed them because they were in the ground.
Yes.
If you really get them clean and bake them until they're like caramelized on the bottom, and that jacket is delicious too.
Hey, I think I got them all nice and peeled. Oh, I got a little piece there.
Okay. So then you have a grater there, I see.
Got my grater, got my hand grater.
And you grated it. Right.
So I just take my hand grater.
Yeah.
I've always heard, I've seen people grate like this.
Right.
And I've always heard it's a little bit safer to either put it over your bowl, or if you have one of those square ones, you just lay it down.
Yes.
And then you just start grating.
Grate it. Takes
Just back and forth.
You could use a food processor if it has a grater on it.
Yeah.
So when you have a pound of those, there's a little thing you need to do. You need to boil some water. Yes, that's it.
What it looks like. And I already have some prepared.
All right, so you boiled a lot of water, about 2
I did.
And you poured that boiling water on top of those grated sweet potatoes.
Yes.
And then you let it sit for about 15 minutes.
Okay.
And then what did you do?
So, according to the instructions, I need to get all the water out of it.
You do.
And I'm gonna get my plate here, and I got my bowl. And first I strained the water out, and I just sort of flopped over and got all the water out. And then I take a handful, and I have clean hands.
Right.
And I just squeeze the water out.
Right. Yes, that helps.
And you have a much easier way than I'm trying to do today.
I'll show you. See the colander. See, you can see through this colander. So you can pour your sweet potatoes in there, and you can just squeeze and press and press and press and get them as dry as you can. So that works too if you don't have one of these.
And it's sort of fun. It's a little gushy, but it's like playing with a very interesting slime. Okay. Got some of my sweet potatoes squeezed out.
Okay, so you can put your sweet potatoes back in the bowl.
Okay.
And then we're going to add the other ingredients. So you got a half a cup of flour. You might want to use a little less than a half a cup because you don't quite have a pound of sweet potatoes there, but that's okay. Oh, that's good.
Yep.
Pour it in, and then just add a little salt and pepper, just kind of to taste. Not a whole lot of salt. We want them a little bit sweet. Okay. Pepper. And then you're going to crack an egg. Right. And then go wash your hands.
Okay.
Okay, Molly, do you remember why you wash your hands after you crack an egg?
Because I could get salmonella.
You might touch your knife or something that you're not going to cook. And it's cross-contaminates. We want to prevent that. Okay, so now
Contaminate. Okay, what do I do?
A fork.
A fork?
To mix it all up. You'll need a spoon too while you're there, probably. All right. So just make sure you combine all that really well. It's going to turn into sort of a little paste.
Paste. Okay.
Paste. Did we get the potatoes too dry, or are they moistening up?
No, I think they're I think it's good.
Yeah, it looks good.
Okay,
so, yeah, so now you want about a half an inch of oil in your pan.
Okay.
So very shallow. It's called a shallow fry. Okay. And then you turn your oil. And since you don't have if you had an electric skillet, you'd put it on about 375 degrees.
Okay.
You'll be fine to do it that way, about medium high. Get started. So you're going to wait till that starts to, have you ever seen oil and it looks like it's moving in the pan all of a sudden? It kind of moves around a little bit, shimmers. You're going to wait till it's that hot. Because if you fry too cold, it will be greasy.
Now, hot oil could burn me really, really bad. So we want to be super careful, and everybody at home, you just make sure you ask your parents or guardians for help.
Yes. So oil is combustible. It can catch on fire. So you really do have to be careful. You're going to need a spatula too to turn your fritters. And you need to have a paper lined plate so when you take them up.
Okay. Okay, I'm going to cover my plate with some paper towels.
There you go.
Now, why do I need to put paper towels down on my plate?
Because there is a little excess oil when you take up the fritter, and that'll just drain it away.
Ooh. I think I see what you mean.
I tell you, one way to test it is take just a little pinch of a potato and just put it in your oil. If it don't do anything, your oil isn't ready.
Okay, let's try.
Okay. No,
it's not ready.
So that's a good sign. So just wait till that starts really frying. So that's a good way to test it.
Okay, I think my oil is ready.
Oh yeah, I see your little test strip ready. So just whatever size you like, a little spoon like that, just put a little bit in there and do it very gently in your pan and kind of flatten them out a little bit once you get them in the pan. So just put it all and then push your spoon and flatten it out a little bit. Yeah, that's good. And just keep on going. And if you put your spoon in a little oil each time, it'll slide off a lot easier.
Ooh, that's a good idea.
There you go now. There you are. See how easy that does? All right. Now flatten those out. Okay.
That's all I can fit in there right now.
Yeah, you have to do it. So when they get kind of solid on the bottom, kind of see if they're sticking. You might want to scrape up with your spoon in a minute, make sure they're not sticking. So you're using a spoon. They're doing well. I see they're doing good. So let them stay like that a few more, maybe a minute. So do they look kind of like cornbread?
They do.
They do. Okay, good. Whenever you think they're brown on that side, you can turn them over.
Okay. Ready to turn. Okay, here's our first one. Not quite as brown as we wanted, but
Always turn it back over in a minute.
There we go. Oh, that one looks good.
Yeah, that one does look good. Okay, great job. You turned those over very nicely. So once they get done on that side, you're good to do another batch.
Okay. So I need to make sure I have my plate nearby.
Good.
So I'm not spilling oil everywhere.
True. 3 to 5 minutes. That's about what you're doing.
Okay.
If you don't like the one side brown enough, you can turn it over again.
Oh, they look good. Oh, that looks good.
Good.
Show y'all.
Oh, that looks so beautiful.
Yes, girl.
So the first guy you fried, he'll be extra crispy.
And then I just do the same thing.
Yeah. Okay, now take your oil off the heat. Turn it off and take it off the heat. There you go.
Ooh, look how hot that is.
Yeah, really hot. But
all right, let me see you.
Look at that. They're gorgeous.
Look
Give it a taste and see how it is.
Okay, I'm going to take one from our first batch.
Okay.
It's sort of cool. Still a little warm, so I'm going to... Oh, look at that pretty.
It's beautiful.
This is good.
Good.
Yeah.
Good that time, huh?
Excellent.
Great.
Absolutely. That's delicious.
So Lion's Delight is a good name for those.
Mm-hmm.
If I was a lion, I'd eat that.
You need this. Now, lions like a lot of protein.
Yeah, they do.
Is there much protein in this?
There's the egg.
The egg, yeah.
Egg has protein.
What food groups are we covering this week?
So we've got the sweet potato, which is the orange vegetable. Then we have the egg, which is the protein. Then we have the flour, which is the grain. So you've got 3 food groups just in one little fritter.
All right. Well, thank you, Miss Rhonda.
You're welcome.
This was a lot of fun. This is delicious. All right. I'm going to go share it with my friends, and we'll see you next week.
All right.
All right. Thanks.
Bye.